Tvara is a multi-talented actor.
I cannot yet reveal how it's going to come, but it's going to come out soon. I hope so.
Seeing Tarak Mehta ka Ulta Chashma,
Yeah.
meeting him personally,
Yeah.
I'm sure it has been mesmerizing even now.
Yeah, it's a legacy I'm very proud of.
You travel, there's a lot of content which you make, but you don't do anything over there, and
Right.
then come back and edit and experience
Yeah.
the fun again.
Yeah. That thing is there, and I think naturally भी मुझे ऐसा लगता है कि जो लोग नहीं इंस्टाग्राम के लिए करते हैं because of phone, I think अब हमें ये आदत हो ही गई है कि wherever we go हमें फिल्म करना ही है. I think mostly everyone does.
क्योंकि सब कुछ अगर आपने सोच लिया तो शायद आपको मिल रहा है ऑस्कर, पर आप फिल्म फेयर लेके बैठ जाओगे उसका कोई मतलब नहीं है. So
You never know.
hi Tvara, how are you?
I'm good.
It's been very long and we have been planning this and now finally it's happening. Thank you for coming up for the first show which we are putting up together. And let me introduce Tvara. Tvara is a multi-talented actor, influencer, content creator, and also she has done net series, and she has worked with national and international brands. And all the content creators should learn one aspect about Tvara is that she has been multi-talented and she is flexible in doing things. So that's one thing which is amazing about her personality. Thank you, Tvara, and it's been great to have you.
Same. I'm so excited for this.
So what are you doing these days?
So these days I'm planning a couple of new projects. I'm working on something that is a story very close to my heart, and I cannot yet reveal how it's going to come, but it's going to come out soon. I hope so. There are multiple things I'm planning for my Instagram also. So a couple of new things are coming up.
Awesome. So you still have the same energy which you started when your journey was there. I remember you were so pretty excited about that. Yes, one step at a time, whatever happens.
Yeah.
And now you've learned so many things through this journey, and you've changed your multiple tracks, but you're still consistent with content creation, which is great. So how did your content creation journey start, if you could share to people?
Right. So first of all, everyone was putting up things on Instagram because people sort of really like sharing pictures and everything. So I was also doing that, and there was not much I planned.
Okay.
But I was sort of interning with different companies, and I saw the kind of content they were making. So I thought that, okay, if I'm doing so good for my clients, maybe I should do something personally for myself. So that's how I created a photo story. It was called Shiro's Redemption, and I put it out on Instagram, like pictures and story, and that got me a great response. So I think that was the first creative thing that I shared, and it got my audience hooked.
Okay, amazing. So how did you then shift from content creation along with also working on movies and theaters and all? How did it go?
So actually, I was doing these things before I got it onto Instagram because people were making ad films. So I'd done a couple of those kind of ad films. I'd done a couple of so I took like a course also for acting and all of that. So then I thought that no, Instagram is like a great place to showcase whatever you have learned. So I just started doing that bit by bit. But definitely you can say that first it was theaters which I did. So 2020 was a year, I think, where I really started getting ROI on my Instagram. So then I thought, this is like a good way to sort of, convert it a little bit into a profession also.
So what was your feeling when you were not getting ROI, and how much time it did take?
So like I said before, I was doing different things. It was not like I was doing theater, I was doing other ads and all of that. So I did not really, but I think it was like pandemic time because that time everybody switched to the phones. So that's how it worked, and then it just generated another source of income for me.
All right.
So I think that was a time when it changed.
So what you mean to say is that content creators should also have parallel other stream of work which can balance working, and because there will be some time where ROI it will happen only after a period of time.
I never thought that this is what I'll do. I never had any inclination. Like I said, that all the things I started managing on my own and I started getting paid well. So I was like, why not?
Right. So great. And how did you started your interest, not just acting in theaters, creating your own plays?
Right.
Because you more on the acting side, and now also thinking about the concept and doing everything together.
So I actually went. I used to go for a lot of events. तो एक दिन एक इवेंट था, सोशल्स का इवेंट था. So you basically go and you get to dance with people there, and these are all strangers, and you just go to that event and you dance and meet them. So it's a Latin American dance. So I went to one of those events and I thought that this is such a nice idea, and I thought that people don't know about it much. So I sort of created a story, like brainstorming with a friend of mine.
Okay.
And we thought, okay, let's do like a play on this. So then we had like 3 short stories and we did a play, and we got a good response in smaller black box theaters, and that was the first play I did. And the second play which I did, it was called Guardians of the Madness. That got me like a really good audience, because we did like some 13-14 shows. We also got like paid shows and stuff like that, and it was on mental health awareness, though it's like a comedy play. So I think a lot of my very loyal audiences came from that, because finally at the end of the day, if you see people purchasing a ticket for something that you are doing and they buy it, and then you sort of break even and even make a little profit, that gives you a lot of confidence that you have been able to create something nice. So I think that gave me a lot of confidence, and that also gave me a good audience. So that's how it was.
Okay, so great. So you could really use your content creation for adding value, for reaching out to your fans and creating a new audience also in your theaters and your films and various things.
It helps a lot. So Instagram helps a lot for that.
So, all right. So how was your experience in working on web series?
Right. So that also happened because of the play. I got cast in one web series directly from the play because it did really well. And we also shot it during COVID. So that was also a new experience. But like I told you, everything is interconnected in a way. So finally when that came out, and because it also went into the digital space, that again benefited me in a lot of ways, like getting a lot of more work, getting better brands. So like I said, that it's all connected.
Right. And how was your experience working with national and international brands put together? How has been that experience?
So these days, like, in a lot of ways nowadays, because of Instagram, it doesn't matter where you are. Because these agencies, they directly reach out to you. They are from Bangalore and Bombay and Delhi, a lot of places. So basically, these really good brands are their clients, and they sort of find you out because they sort of see the kind of work you are doing. So that is something that helps you. You're just sitting at home, you're just creating good stuff and putting it out there, and people are reaching out to you.
But
so that is like, even I never knew that I will get some good brands, like really good brands. So, but that's how it is done these days.
But a lot of people just believe that brands only sends products, they don't pay up and all those kind of things.
Right. So I have had a couple of experiences like that, but mostly when you get like an agency which is contacting you, you can take a look at their profile. I think that will give you a very good idea if the agency is good or legit, or if they are just, I think you should just, once you get into it, you get an idea. But sometimes there are delayed payments, then you have to follow up, that sort of a thing. But the kind of brands also that they are working with, then you know that this agency has to be legit. Because they're working with really big brands.
Absolutely. Majorly, what are the agencies and the brands looking at? when you talk about content creation?
So a lot of people will say that people are looking at a niche, like if you're creating only one type of content, then that's what the brands are looking at. But I think most importantly, what brands want is that you finish your work on time. You follow the guidelines that are shared, because it is done very seamlessly. They send you like a document saying that this is how you have to shoot yourself, this is how you have to place the camera. So bit by bit you learn a lot of aspects of how to film on your own.
Right.
And you stick to guidelines that they give, you stick to timelines. I think that is what they want,
Right.
more than anything else.
So
That is
timelines and delivering what they want
Yeah.
is what they are looking at.
Yeah.
And are they major brands looking at conversion, or they're just trying to reach a relevant audience?
Conversion, definitely yes. But something about Instagram, you'll see that sometimes a reel does very well. It reaches millions. It does not necessarily mean that it will lead to conversion,
Right.
right? And
Absolutely.
sometimes you see that the reel does not do that well. It is,
Agreed.
But it will result in conversion.
Absolutely.
So
Absolutely.
this, I think, depends very much on the product, on who you're selling, what the product is. I think also how it is promoted.
And also their intentions in terms of what, also it depends, I think, on their other work which they have done,
Right.
how sure they are about the communication,
Yeah.
the communication line which they are giving. Until unless they are not clear, you will not be able to create that. And at the same point of time, it's also on the analytics, what the content creators have, that what are the inputs. The content creators and the brand team both meet together, and that's how they are able to reach to the conversion, because your analytics and your demographics are absolutely different.
Yeah.
I think demographics plays a very important role, and the brand managers and the agencies need to look at. So it's a win-win from both the sides.
Yeah.
Sometimes even I feel a lot of friends who are content creators, they have said no to things. So
Yeah.
so it's very pretty important to saying that this is not fitting me, I'll not do it.
Yeah.
It's not just about that product or doing it. Everyone should have their own choices, and they have their own audiences. So they have to be loyal to the audiences. I think that's more important.
Very true.
So what's your message for content creators?
For them, it is just that you have to keep. This is a profession where you have to reinvent yourself constantly. So every time you learn something new, there are going to be like 5 new things which you'll have to learn. Like I was saying this, that I learned like a lot of new apps. I also learn a lot of editing skills on my own. I've developed it because there are my DOPs and they are shooting and filming the whole thing sometimes. But I think editing is something that I do on my own. So it is something where you have to learn new trends. You have to learn because the Instagram algorithm also keeps changing. So these are all the things which you have to constantly keep yourself updated.
Right.
And like people are like, so मैं तो यही कहूँगी, people are like, AI is coming. They are like so threatened by the new thing that is coming. But I think that we should not be threatened by AI. We should just learn to use it correctly.
Probably you have more things to look at and work on, because what will differentiate you is the quality.
Yeah.
If you are learning AI, if you are implementing that, it's absolutely all right.
Yeah.
So you should not be threatened.
Yeah.
You should say that I will improve my quality using these tools.
Yeah.
And also be using paid subscribe tools which are available in today's market. People try to use only free tools in creating content to make that I'm going to make the most out of it. It's not making most out of it.
True.
Parallelly, it's very important for contributing and investing in your content parallelly. So in this scenario, what are your key areas which you want to share, that these are the things people should follow if they are a content creator?
Right. So firstly, like I said, that you have to learn new things. You have to sort of deliver things on time. And you just have to keep at it. But I also have one other thing to share, because these days, a lot of people think that, oh, they can very easily be like a digital creator. They can just go on Instagram, and just because one or two reels will do well, they think that, oh, I can convert this into a profession. But sometimes that might not work for you.
Right.
So I'm not saying not saying that like a give up attitude sort of a thing, but you give yourself some time. एक साल किया, 2 साल किया. After 2 years, if you feel that you're not able to do it, then I think maybe you have to take it into consideration that it's not meant for you.
Or maybe you take it as a secondary career. So if you are into real estate and then you create content around it where it doesn't pay you, you have to do a little less, and then it's helping you do that. Or if you are into running a beauty salon or something like that, maybe you parallelly.
And the same thing I say to all the actors who I meet, because there are like a lot of actors who think that why should I go on Instagram? But when you're like when you open your Instagram every day, almost every day, when you're filming yourself, you know your angles. So finally, when you go on a big set and there are like 3 cameras shooting you, you will exactly know where to look. You exactly know your profiles, because you're editing also your reels on your own. So I think that helps you a lot. And I think the next gen, like you can say a lot of Gen Z people, they are like they're like so easily so much better at it. So I think that is something that you should definitely do if you're facing the camera.
Yeah, a lot of content creators are using iPhones to do their podcast.
Yeah.
So now in this world, there is no limitation available that you need the best possible setup. You can start small. You can start with your friends. You can collaborate with your friends and create a lot of content. So how is your idea about collaborating within for content creation?
Yeah, we definitely do it time to time. Time to time you meet people who are almost similar to your profile, and like you collaborate with them, so that really helps.
Yeah, you have a very strong opinion about women empowerment in the where it is always said that men dominate the entire ecosystem in films and entertainment ecosystem. So what is your say on it?
Yeah, so personally, my experience, I definitely feel that thing is there. Like, because like I said, how did I start doing things on my own? It was just because, there was sometimes where I did not have anyone to help me, especially also in the pandemic times when they were saying that we have to have like smaller teams, don't call so many people. So sometimes you feel that, okay, if nobody is there, then why should you just not work? And that's how I started learning a lot of things. Like I learned editing and stuff like that. So that has dheere dheere helped me to sort of like make things possible on my own. Right. So that can be threatening for some people. That does make people feel that, okay, she's like, but then why not? I've put so much effort in it and I do it. So then I've been able to manage the whole thing on my own. So I think that should be appreciated.
Right.
Is what I feel.
Right.
But I have like a funny thing. These days, what happens is like I was thinking how best I can explain this scenario to you. Imagine there's like a Titanic, okay, and like there are all men, just one woman is there on the ship, and there's some problem कि iceberg को hit हो गया है, Titanic कुछ तो हुआ है and डूबने वाला है. So these guys are like, oh my God, the Titanic is going to sink, and we know what to do. Now, obviously, they don't know what to do because it's sinking, right? Now, this one woman says that, hey, you know what? I know how to save the ship. Like, I can really help. But they'll be like, no. So, वो movie में जैसे था, lifeboat में they say that there's a rule that women and children have to go first. So, like, no, you are a woman, you save yourself.
Right.
But she's like, hey, I know how to save the entire ship. Why don't you let me try?
Right.
They'll be like, no, don't try. We know better. And then the ship will sink, and the woman is like, okay, if they're just not listening to me, then let me just save myself and leave on the lifeboat. So that is a situation in a lot of ways. I think they should just give women a chance. Maybe we can save the ship.
But what if you're saying that one woman wants to save the ship, but at a lot of time what is happening is even if there are there is such scenarios, they don't even try because they've been always stopped.
Yeah.
So हमेशा क्या होता है कि वो ट्राई भी तो करना जरूरी है.
सही बात.
एंड वो ट्राई करेंगे तब तो शिप सेव होगा.
तो वो तो करना ही चाहिए डेफिनेटली.
सो बाहर निकलना चाहिए, एंड बिकॉज ऑफ प्रेशर people don't move out, people don't यानी women at times they are stopped. So वो mindset बहुत बड़ा wall create करता है. Then actual दीवार होने की जगह पे जो imaginary walls है, that stops you in a very different way. Plus there are a lot of obstacles which are not there, which people have created. So that has to be broken down, and there could be an approach where things are balanced. What I think is, because at situations people always treat कि भाई when you talk about equality, what I think is that equality में you have to leave things open for equality.
True.
ठीक है, तो अगर आप समझ रहे हो कि अगर मेन विमेन इक्वल लेवल के है, तो इक्वल लेवल पे उनको अपॉर्चुनिटीज मिले, और इक्वल लेवल पे उनको वो सिनेरियोस भी दिए जाए जहाँ पे प्रेशर भी इक्वल हो. हाँ, तो तभी तो जाके इक्वालिटी आएगा ना. We understand we are made differently. God has sent us for different reasons. भगवान ने भेजा ही है हमें अलग अलग काम करने के लिए. That men have different mindset, women have different mindset, and also their physical. They have created that way. So at times balance is important, balancing up, but also looking out equal opportunities is also important.
True.
तो वो मैं समझता हूँ, and वो करना ही चाहिए. So that's very important.
You should set a good example and like inspire people in the right way.
Right.
That is something that you should really do, because that helps a lot. Like, I'm so connected to my audience, you know, that like I get so many DMs. I get like, just because of this mental health awareness play, that like in a way we spread awareness about it, I get people sharing their personal stories with me. So that's a really nice thing that I think I have earned. That is something I really value, that kind of connection with the people who I have within my community.
Right. So how do you overcome your challenges, like where your life is quite open in front of people? Your audience, your theater followers, and people who like your theaters, and people who like your web series. तो उसके अंदर क्या limitations आप देखते हो कि यार मैं ये लिमिट तक ओपन रह सकती हूँ, ये लिमिट के बाद मेरा पर्सनल स्पेस है, I have to shut down everything. So how do you differentiate in personal, private, public space?
So that can be a little bit challenging. That definitely happens, because sometimes like people do treat you differently when you go in friend circles and these kind of things. I've experienced it was not happening before. But a lot of your friendships change, a lot of your equations change, the way people treat you changes. A lot of times it happens that, you know, people want you to be a part of certain event or a certain group because they want to be seen with you. So these kind of things are, you feel that, okay, that is not really cool. But then you deal with it, because then these are the people also who will also support your work. So it's like a fine balance between both, and both like you said that this coin has like two sides.
Right. What about maybe some guys or people trying to approach that I want to connect with you, I want to see you, ye wo sab. So how do you manage that?
So sometimes you do meet nice people also. So I don't always, so definitely there's a extra noise which you just sort of cancel. You don't look at it, that should not bother you. But I met some great people also.
Right.
So that is something that you should not rule out. I met some great people.
Right.
So I keep that thing open. You can always meet a person, and then anyway you get the vibe of that person, whether you want to like talk more or not. I think you understand that immediately once you meet them.
But how do you filter it before even meeting up?
So mostly you know people via friends. You can see the kind of profile that they have. you can also see that. So that gives you a very good idea.
All right. So it's not just blind date kind of thing.
No. No, it's not like that.
So do you also see things connecting backwards?
Right.
So as Steve Jobs has said well, that you cannot see it forward, you have to look in backward, that things connecting what you're doing now and how did few steps helped you, which you didn't even realize, okay, this will help me and this is helping you.
Yeah, a lot of things like that. I did not know anything before, anything that it was going to turn out this way.
Okay.
I could never judge, I could never actually, have that preconceived notion, but I just went with the flow. And that is why, like you say, okay, people say, what is your 5-year plan? What do you look forward to? So I think you should have goals, but at the same time, you should be very willing to go with the flow.
Yeah.
Because mostly things are better than what you plan.
करना ही पड़ेगा, क्योंकि सब कुछ अगर आपने सोच लिया तो शायद आपको मिल रहा है ऑस्कर, पर आप फिल्म फेयर लेके बैठ जाओगे, उसका कोई मतलब नहीं है. So
you never know.
Yeah, so you have to allow yourself to grow and also have a planning, set goals कि धीरे धीरे goals तो रखो, पर साथ में यार थोड़ा तो खुला छोड़ दो कि यार आ रहा है तो आने दो, दिमाग में आइडिया आ रहा है तो let it happen. So that's very important. So good.
Yeah, that's something that I always tell people, because that can make your life also exciting. Basically, I get bored very fast. I get bored of everything very fast. That's also good and that's also bad, both the ways.
Right. So Tvara, what are your methods of unwinding yourself with hectic work schedules?
Right. So I am I do workout regularly. I like to listen to music and meditation, mindfulness. I was not doing all these things before, but on and off I've been doing it. But these days I feel that it is extremely important. So I make sure that I journal, I write down things which I've gone through. I have like a nice diary I keep. So I don't maintain it regularly, but whenever I feel that I'm like stuck in a rut or something, then I definitely do that.
And how do you handle pressure of doing too many things together, sometimes of events, shoots, content?
I love it actually. I'm just saying that I do not complain about that because that is something I love. I think I feel the most pressure when I don't have anything happening. Like I'm sure a lot of artists and a lot of people who are creative will feel that. क्योंकि सारे ही creative लोगों का ऐसा होता है कि जब होता है तो बहुत सारा काम एक साथ होता है, and then there is a period where you do not have anything interesting happening, or sometimes have nothing happening at all. So I think during those times I love to travel. I've been to covered some 20 states of India. Amazing. And a lot of times when I don't get the right company that I want, then sometimes I just go alone. So I've also been on solo trips. I love to trek. Trekking is something, I've done a really nice trek which is called Sandakphu Trek. It's on India-Nepal border where you see sunrise in Nepal and sunset in India.
Oh,
it's that
wow.
Beautiful. And it's like a 7-day trek. So I've done Kheer Ganga, I've also been to Nagaland. There's a Zoku Valley trek. So yeah, I just take a trip and I think that sort of grounds me, relaxes me, and it's very rejuvenating because you sort of just shut out everything and you travel. And yes, most importantly, I think travel has helped me because I think it is really understanding the people of India, where you are on your own, you're talking to them. So you really get an idea, and that helps me a lot again with my work, because I really need to understand how people think. So yeah, I'm always constantly working, you can say, but traveling is also something, it's one of my most favorite hobbies.
Right. And I'm sure you have explored 20 states. That means 20 diverse cultures, or even more diverse cultures, because even every state is a small country in itself. So how has been that experience of experiencing that diversity?
Yeah, so it's actually really nice when you go and you understand the culture, live with the locals, you eat with them. So I remember once I was in Meghalaya and actually lived in a tree house there.
Right.
So it was like a 3-generation old tree house. So that's how they live. And it rains so much there, and then you understand, okay, this house is still intact. It's raining so much, so that's how they build it. So lot of beautiful experiences like that, where you understand that the people of India are also so diverse, but they are so unified. Like, people always help you. So yeah, you meet great people when you travel.
What's have been difference between traveling within India and outside India?
I've not explored outside of India much. I've been to Egypt and I've been to Jordan, and a lot of ways that was like, something to do with, I wanted to check, just tick the boxes of the wonders of the world. So I was like, isme, so one thing that is there about traveling is that, these days, again, because of social media, when you go to a new place, it does not feel new anymore.
Right.
Because you've seen so many reels, pictures. So when you choose like a travel destination, I think that's why I chose something like Egypt, because, it was like experiencing the pyramid or experiencing the Dead Sea. So that experience itself is so new. I went to Wadi Rum. It actually feels like you are on Mars.
Okay.
So I like to go to those kind of places, because there you really feel, even if you've seen those pictures on Instagram, that feeling,
the experience is different.
Yeah, you're going to feel something. And I don't know what is going to happen to us, because now, we'll go and we'll be experiencing 3D very soon. Like, Apple Vision Pro is going to give you like a real life experience of being someplace. So I think that experience also we might not get.
Yeah.
Right? So I like to travel to those kind of places, and that's why I love trekking.
But what about every now and then it is so confusing to select a destination.
Yeah.
How do you select a destination for your travel? Because you see, as you said, you see it, different in photos, different in real experiences. So how do you select a destination for your travel?
First of all, according to the weather, because sadly right now not been able to travel much, because I've been working too much like last 2-3 years. But otherwise, for Ahmedabad, I really like to get out in summers. Sadly, this entire summer I was right here. So that should not happen. And in India, I've done this. I've been to so many states. I've not been to Kashmir. Because I was like saved it for the last. क्योंकि सब कहते हैं कि कश्मीर जन्नत है, तो मुझे लगता है कि पहले ही मैं कश्मीर चली गई तो I'll not like other things because I'll compare in some way. So I saved it for the last. Okay. So that I experience it at the last after experiencing twice. So
when is Kashmir going to happen?
I hope soon.
Last में रखा है और जल्दी करना है.
हाँ, मतलब ऐसा नहीं कि सारे states करना है, ऐसा भी कुछ नहीं है, पर हाँ, I've sort of saved it because I feel that I should not get exposed to so much beauty पहले, and then you're like, okay, अब समझ आ नहीं आ रहा.
I understand. So how do you overcome these challenges in your work? Having very experimental in selecting things.
Right.
So how do you overcome that challenges to switch your modes?
Right. So that is in a way how I'm built, I think. So that is not something that keeps me going in a lot of way. So I do feel I do get stuck in a rut, and this is a lot like that because it becomes sometimes there's a fine balance where creativity becomes so much work. You feel कि अरे मैंने तो मजे करने के लिए start किया था, now it's like work. So then you want to just switch off and do something else.
Right.
Because then, that sort of keeps happening.
So I'm sure when you travel, there's a lot of content which you make, but you don't do anything over there. And then come back and edit and experience the fun again.
Yeah. That thing is there, and I think naturally भी मुझे ऐसा लगता है कि जो लोग नहीं Instagram के लिए करते हैं because of phone, I think अब हमें ये आदत हो ही गई है कि wherever we go हमें film करना ही है. I think mostly everyone does, like even our parents' generation, right? Because they are so hooked to WhatsApp, they are so hooked to filming with their phones. even though they do not have that good aesthetic sense sometimes the way like Gen Zs might have, but they want to capture.
Yeah.
Like मैं कहूँगी कि अरे मैं अच्छा फोटो ले रही हूँ ना, but still they were like
उनको ही नहीं मैं तो लूंगा।
मैं भी,
हाँ सबको फोटो फोन पकड़ के
अपने फोन से लेंगे।
हाँ, और आप ट्रैवल कम करते हो और वहाँ पे कम रहते हो, so it's very important to live that moment over there.
True.
Now coming to your very personal question, that what do you think about the modern dating?
Okay. Yeah, so it's definitely getting more and more tricky as we go about, because people have a lot of options now. I think India, like you can say, it's going through a major shift. I think maybe what the West saw 20 years back, 30 years back, I think we are going through that shift now. We can say in a lot of ways, right? Where people are now very passionate about their work, both men and women, and the whole balancing act of how much you contribute professionally or personally, and like the work-life balance. I think that is the biggest challenge in modern dating, I can say.
Right.
Because people are like, and people have several options. Now people have dating apps. They are on so many dating apps, not just on social media. So that can be very, very challenging. And I think our tolerance levels, we all know, they have definitely gone down.
Right.
So I feel that India is going through a major change, but I think that, like I say, I don't stop any sort of change, and I always go with it. So I think it's fine.
Right. Before moving to the speed round, where we'll talk more, what is the right kind of person you're looking at as a life partner?
I would definitely want someone who is who sort of evolves, because I'm somebody who constantly evolves. So that is what happens in my life. Ki, Achha, I'm like this right now, then I could be like constantly evolving, getting better. So I put a lot of pressure on myself also in that way. So I would need somebody like that. Then I think I can never be like happily stable. That's just not something that I want.
Right.
Yeah.
So life is full of uncertainties, and it keeps changing, and there is nothing permanent in life, as we all know.
Yeah.
So someone who is constantly evolving, learning, understanding.
And for better, not for worse, for better.
What about pets in your life?
I don't have any. I love dogs.
Right.
I love cats too. That's like strange. I mostly like a lot of things. I cannot pick one. That's like always been like a issue with me. But yeah, I love dogs, but I don't have, because
dogs or cats?
I'll pick dogs.
You'll pick dogs. Which breed?
I would go with a lab, because I think they are the most lovable.
Right.
And after all, we need that as humans. We really need that. So sometimes I think that, we have said this, that a dog is a man's best friend. Maybe the dog never said it. I think about it that way.
Yeah,
we crave for their love so much. Maybe they don't enjoy our company so much, but it's just their nature to give so much love. So dogs are the best.
Yeah, it's something where every day the kind of welcome which you get, maybe even your life partner would not give that kind of attention. I have 2 dogs, and we are 2 and 2, so we are 4 by 4, and so do quickly have a dog. And
I think I should
and it will help you a lot, because the kind of connection which they make is very different. And I'm sure people know about it, but there is a very different thing where even culturally, Indian culture had dogs as a important, where there are a lot, Shankar Bhagwan, Kartike Bhagwan, they all gods have dogs.
I've seen it in
a lot of photos you will find it, lot of old books you will find it, when people are saying that dogs are not part of our culture. So when did the dog came here? So dog was the only animal which was welcomed into Swarg. When Yudhishthir went.
Yeah, I know that story.
So these are all references which will say that dogs will be loyal to you, and rather than loyalty, it's more about the company. But
True.
it is very important to also make sure that you have a healthy dog and you need to give in a lot of time behind it.
That's a challenge also.
Yeah, that's a challenge. Yes, because we don't have time. Because in US, people leave back for a very long time, and that's how it is. So, one thing which you want to change in your life?
I feel that I would really love to get connected to more people, where I can sort of make good connections, where I can work more creatively. I have some really great people in my life, but I want more of those kind of connections.
Right.
I think that would make my job more and more easy. So that's something I would really want.
One thing which you will never want to change?
I think my curiosity about things, that is something that helps me everywhere. I'm like this will sound very ऐसा कि हाँ टॉक शो में बोलते हैं ऐसी वाली चीजें, but I am a learner. So I love it. I love learning new things.
So now we're going to move to speed round, where we're going to have rapid fire.
Okay.
So social media in today's age, boon or curse?
Boon.
Coffee at a star hotel or chai ki kitli?
Oh, both. Depends.
So favorite location, Juhu Beach or Riverfront, Ahmedabad?
Juhu Beach, but pehle, not now. Pehle I used to like Juhu Beach.
तो पहले क्या?
It was not polluted and all. It's like more and more polluted now, and it does not. I have really good childhood memories of Juhu Beach. So yeah, that way.
What keeps you high octane?
Like I said, a good mix of a good diet, and I take my food very, very seriously. I do not ever starve. I like have to have my breakfast, so that's how I start my day. And like I said, I work out. I always unwind even if I have a very, very busy schedule. So I'll watch something or do something that I like. So
Right.
yeah, that keeps me going.
All right. So are you a reserved or an outgoing person?
Outgoing.
Would you like to go to Goa or Kashmir?
Kashmir now. Yeah.
I know it. Before watching movies on phones or big screen,
Phones.
net series or theaters?
Both. But these days I'm watching stuff on the phone more.
Popcorn or nachos or something else?
Popcorn.
Your favorite film?
Oh, okay. I cannot pick one film that's like so
You can go with
tough.
3.
Okay, I love Woody Allen films. That is like some of my biggest inspiration comes from his films. A film that I really, which has stayed with me is strangely, I don't even know why, but Moonstruck.
Okay.
And series mein, I love stuff like there is one show called Love, Death, Robots and Black Mirror
Okay.
on Netflix.
And which plays you love the most?
Again, plays is very tough. I love Rajat Kapoor ka clowning plays. So that has been one of my biggest inspiration because that inspired me to create my own. I also took his interview for one of these websites. I was sort of contributing as a writer for a bit. So I took his interview and all of his plays. I think वो Shakespeare के plays को he converts, and I think I watched it in Prithvi,
Right.
and I think that was one of my biggest inspiration.
Prithvi is the class apart plays and lovely.
But it's difficult to pick one. But still, I'm picking this.
Fondest memory of Tarak Mehta?
Okay. I remember we would just sit very closely and talk. And so the environment I grew up in, the best thing about my family is that we are never stopped from asking any questions, and all the questions are answered.
Okay.
So that is like a very cute thing which I always remember about him.
Right. So you've grown seeing Tarak Mehta ka Ulta Chashma, meeting him personally.
Yeah.
I'm sure it has been mesmerizing even now.
Yeah.
And
it's a legacy I'm very proud of.
very nice, very nice. So we should be proud of, and we should That's great
Yeah.
to have you here. And thank
you.
you very much. Now how did the show go?
I think it was nice. I think there was a moment where we were sort of lost in the conversation.
Right,
So that was really nice. I enjoyed it and we were going with the flow.
right.
Yeah.
Amazing. Thank you very much, Tvara. And we had a great time.
Same.
And hope to do another podcast sometime
Yeah.
next, where maybe we could do it together or something.
Yeah.
We'll try something experimental. Thank you for your time and thank you very much. We'll
Thank
see you soon.
Thanks.
Yeah, bye.
Bye.
And we are excited for your net series coming
Yes.
out. So, what's the name? Or under wraps.
Yeah.
ठीक है, stay tuned and check out for the net series of Tvara and amazing podcast today with Tvara Mehta, and it was very interactive and there are a lot of things which I could know more about her, and I'm sure people are excited for her new net series. All the best to you.
Thanks.
And thank you for your time. Thank you very much.